3 things you can do when you feel you're being mistreated. 3 things you can do when you believe that you're being mistreated. Number 1, change how you are on the inside. Often I find when people mistreat me, it's because they believe that they can. It's because they believe I have no power. They believe that I'm not a person who can stand up for herself. They believe that I have no intelligence, or I have no self-control. A lot of times people will test you, and when you look like I do, people are testing you all the time. So you know how you pass the test, rather than responding all the time with negativity or responding all the time in anger and with your gut reaction. Sometimes the best way to respond is to, quote unquote, act like you're ignoring them, but changing how you are in the company of that person or those people. Give them a response that they're not expecting. Give them a response that's typically uncharacteristic of you. You have to always shake things up with people. You have to always keep them on their toes. And you can't do and be the expected. You have to be the unexpected. That's what I have found in my life experience. So the first thing you do is change how you are on the inside. The second thing that you can do when you believe you're being mistreated, I alluded to a little bit in number 1. And that is, you can choose to ignore what the person is doing to you. Here's what I mean by ignore. Don't be anyone's floor mat. Don't be anyone's stomping ground, meaning allowing them to just walk all over you. However, do not give the person the gut reaction that they are after. Typically, when people are mistreating you, they may act like that you don't have any power, but they know that you have the power in the situation. Who is feeling powerless and worthless usually is the person mistreating you. So in order for them to feel power, sometimes they do things that are unfair and unjust to other people. From the bully on the playground to the quote unquote bully at the workplace. This is what people typically do. And this is typically why they behave in the way that they do when they're mistreating other people. And people who mistreat people as a behavioral pattern, they know what they're doing. It's not like they don't know. The people that sometimes do things to you unknowingly are people that have genuinely good hearts, and they're not trying to backstab or manipulate. But I'm talking about people who systematically treat you in a way that is poor and disrespectful and as if you're subhuman. I'm talking about those people. So you can choose to ignore their childish antics. You're taking mental notes, but you don't have to act on them. The third thing that you can do when you believe someone's mistreating you is if there is someone who can mediate or someone you can go to, just, who can listen, someone's ear you can bend, do that. We're all human. We all get frustrated. Eventually we get angry and we feel hurt because this person is treating us as less than And it can be a lot to take sometimes. So, if there's a good licensed therapist that you have in your sphere of influence, a psychologist, a mediator, a person who not necessarily is going to give their opinion and put their 2 cents in, but will just sit and listen to what you're going through, you can do that. If you don't have such a person in your life, you can always journal. As I always say on here, journaling daily does wonders for your life. It does wonders for your soul. It does wonders for your psyche. So you can always journal how you were feeling. And often when you journal, you will come up with ideas on how you can better handle yourself in that situation. I'm going to add a bonus tip. The number 4 thing you can do when you believe that someone's mistreating you, don't be around them. If it's a relative and you're over the age of 18, the beautiful news is you don't have to be around that person. If you live in the house with them, you can always work as many jobs, do as many things as it takes to make enough money to move. If it's your spouse, if it's your spouse, then you definitely want to have a talk with them at some point. You definitely want to seek some counseling, and then you may decide that it's time to part ways. But parting ways is your last, go-to. You have done everything else you can possibly think of to do, and the situation's not being rectified, and you realize that you can no longer live this way. I mean, that is the ultimate last resort. So I hope you find these tips helpful today. I've been going through some things and thought that I would share what I've been learning and what's helping me in order to deal with people that don't always treat me like they should. But I want to make sure that I'm treating people the way that I should. So sometimes you have to do a little introspective and figure out, if they're reacting to you or if this is strictly their action that they're creating. So thank you so much for your time. Peace and love to you.